in a chair, strapped down. I feel great. Everything is fine. Thank you. Tell everyone separation has taken place. These were cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov's last recorded words before being unrecognizably burned to death upon impact with the Earth. He sounded confident, even relieved, but he knew he was facing his death even before he stepped on board his Soyuz 1 spacecraft. Now the Soyuz, or Union, model spacecraft, which would eventually become the standard for Russian launches to this day, began as an attempt to compete with the American Apollo for a complex 3-seat spacecraft. The Soyuz 1 was the most complicated mission yet, as the ship was going to be tested for the first time with a human life on board. Now typically, the first iteration of a new type of spacecraft is not numbered, but the Soyuz 1 was numbered because it was made alongside a partnership, the Soyuz 2. The aim of their mission, the first with steering and docking capabilities, was for these two manned spacecraft to meet in space and for the crew of the Soyuz 1 to join the crew of Soyuz 2 via spacewalk, to show both a manned and unmanned landing of two similar spacecraft. The cosmonauts and engineers working on the spacecraft wanted to do several unmanned missions before attempting this highly dangerous one. But in the eyes of their leadership, there were no time for these delays. Now, Soviet leadership's goal was to have a successful mission on the books before May 1st, the National Day of Worker Solidarity, equivalent to the American Labor Day. They wanted to do this to reinforce to their public that the communist system was doing exactly what it was intended to do, and it should remain in power. Now, Komarov, a beloved military veteran, was pressured into taking his role on the Soyuz 1 despite his own concerns about the project's safety. He was told that he would lose his military honors and title if he refused to man the ship, which would tear his career to shreds. Furthermore, he knew that saying no would mean his close friend, Yuri Gagarin, the first man to go to space, would be forced to go in his place. He was not willing to send his friend up on such a risky mission, knowing he could have stopped it. Now, there were 203 known flaws in this spacecraft before the launch, and even a group of cosmonauts and engineers helped Gagarin write a 10-page report outlining all of these problems. This report, however, never made it into the right hands. Vladimir Komarov was tasked with bringing the report to the leaders of the space program, convinced to do so after dining with Komarov and realizing how dire the situation was. No one else in the program was brave enough to do this, as the Russian leaders had a habit of shooting the messenger. So as the bearer of bad news, Komarov lost his job, and was even banned from communicating with anyone in the spaceflight program, despite having never even read the report himself. Now, naturally, nothing ever came of the report's delivery. So at the launch, Yuri Gagarin put on a pressurized suit and went to the launch pad, despite the fact that he was not supposed to join Komarov, nor was Komarov going to be wearing a pressurized suit himself. Many believe Gagarin was intending to shoulder his way into the cockpit in Komarov's place. But regardless, Gagarin was certainly working to disrupt this launch, hoping to protect his friend from the fate that now seemed inevitable. The Soyuz 1 left the ground on April 23rd, 1967 at 3:35 a.m. One of the solar panels on the Soyuz 1 immediately failed upon launch, forcing the spacecraft to limp along with half of the usual power supply. The panel blocked a number of necessary instruments from functioning, and despite Komarov's several attempts to get it loose, it remained stuck. By 10 a.m., the conditions on the Soyuz 1 had gotten so bad that the decision was made to cancel the launch of the Soyuz 2. Komarov was instructed to fly the spacecraft manually, as it had lost its ability to orient itself in space. As he re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, he realized the problems with the craft's controls meant he would be unable to land on target. Shortly after re-entering the atmosphere, the spacecraft started spinning. With Komarov unable to control the ship's orientation, the spinning in the ship had lost all ability to lift itself and was now plummeting towards Earth with nothing to hold it up. The impact completely flattened the vessel and immediately caused the fuel tanks to explode, engulfing Komarov and the entire ship in flames. A color flare was shot off, communicating a cosmonaut was in urgent need of medical care, but there was no color to signify a rocket's crew had died. It wasn't until the rescue crews arrived that they saw there was no hope for Komarov. The rescue crews immediately noticed that a fully deployed parachute was entirely missing from the crash site. The parachute was where the focus of the investigation was directed shortly after the incident, finding that it had been packed away inside the ship improperly, blocked so that it could not deploy when necessary. Blame was placed on the failure to follow proper procedures, and the great concern that led up to the launch of the Soyuz 1 was largely overlooked. However, this incident transformed parachute installation procedures, and parachutes as a method to protect lives of astronauts has become almost entirely reliable since Komarov's death. With all the problems already present on the spacecraft before its launch, it's unknown whether or not the parachute really would have saved him. It was one failed safeguard out of many. Komarov now was aware the mission would likely end in his death well before anyone was aware of the parachute problems. While he technically died upon impact of the Earth, his bravery and desire to protect his friend earned him the title of the first man to die in space, as he was the first known human casualty of the space race. His open casket funeral served as a reminder to Russian leaders of the ways they failed to protect their national heroes. Komarov's death was largely blamed on forgetfulness, but it was leadership's vision and the culture created from that vision that led to the Soyuz 1 failure. When the culture created is consumed entirely by racing the clock rather than conservative decision making, failure is more than just likely. It's a matter of time. Admiral Rickover was pioneering the U.S. nuclear navy during the Cold War. He faced the same time pressures. His pressures were to beat the Russians in the arms race. Rickover had to force submarine projects to slow down in order to protect the lives of the people who would be working on them, telling leadership to imagine their own sons working on these submarines. He called his method facing the facts, and it's one of the key principles of the Taproot system. Though tragic, the Soyuz 1, Vladimir Komarov, Yuri Gagarin, Vladimir Komarov, even Soviet leadership teach us lessons. Vision creates a culture that drives behavior. Elements of all three of the leadership visions are found in the Soyuz 1 story. First, Soviet leadership's racing the clock vision. This vision creates a culture where you don't have time to fix these problems. Think of it as do only what is necessary to get us back to production. This creates a culture of superficial investigations and weak corrective actions, like telling the workers to try harder. The second leadership vision displayed by Soviet leadership is the blame vision. The blame vision creates a culture that people are the problem. This drives a behavior from the workers of hiding mistakes. No one saw me do it, you can't prove that I did it, and so on. Leadership's behavior in a blame vision is discipline. The who's responsible for this. And often the corrective action is in a blame vision culture is to fire the last one that touched it, or to dismiss the problem as a worker problem, very much like Vladimir Komarov. The third leadership vision was not displayed by Soviet leadership, but by cosmonauts Komarov, Gagarin, and Komarov, and even Admiral Rickover. That's the opportunity to improve vision. Leadership's vision here is that every mistake is an opportunity to improve. That understanding and fixing the system is the key to improvement. That people are not the problem. In the opportunity to improve vision, people work together to solve problems and improve the system before those problems become incidents, like the Soyuz 1. To truly build a successful improvement program and avoid your Soyuz 1 incident, you must first have the opportunity to improve vision, culture, and behavior installed. Our executive leadership course teaches leaders how to drive their culture and behavior, giving them the exact process to understand, fix, and enhance the system for accurate investigations and true improvement results. To learn more about enhancing your improvement program and changing behaviors, reach out to us and we'll be glad to build a program with you.